Good morning, good evening. In this video, I'm going to try and better explain some of my statuses from yesterday and today. I'm not here to try and convince anybody. I'm going to make this recording simply to share my experience, share what I know, and I'll leave it to the open-minded and those who resonate to take it or leave it. The topic of this video is going to be covering conspiracies and what they lead up to. There's a reason I posted the status I did yesterday about conspiracy theorists and what they are. As of the past 3 or 4 years, the term conspiracy theorist is a term that people have coined themselves. People are self-proclaiming themselves conspiracy theorists, and they're proud of it. So I had a lot of people telling me, the other day, this is not something people are calling themselves. This was assigned by the CIA and all this stuff. And I get what the majority of people who think they've done their research have been told about what the word conspiracy theorist is. But I want people to be aware of something. To stop following the crowds, stop following the herds of people. Never yesterday did I mention the word sheeple or people being sheep. But I had a lot of people telling me that I was a sheep and I was being this or that. But I just want people to be aware of something. I'm not repeating what anybody else is. When I posted the status yesterday and had 200 people disagreeing with me and telling me that I was stupid, name-calling, putting down, that's all fine. It doesn't affect me. But what I want people to pay attention to is when you have 200 people getting on my status talking about the same thing, you're giving the same answer, the same explanation. You're not thinking for yourself anymore. All of you sound the same. All 200 of you are just regurgitating, oh, the term conspiracy theorist came from the CIA. It was coined during the JFK time and this and that. It's the same answer from 200 people. So this is what I want to make people aware of. Leave the crowds behind. Stop following what everyone else is saying and doing. Go into your own experience. The reason I'm focusing so much on conspiracy theorists is not because I'm shaming them, which is, again, a lot of the response I got yesterday I didn't even respond to because I know what I'm targeting. I know why I posted that status, right? It's not to pick on conspiracy theorists. It's because the people in conspiracy theories are halfway there. They're halfway into what they're awaiting. But my point in focusing on conspiracy theorists is to make them realize these stories are infinite algorithms. What that means is there will always be a news story. There will always be a governing system. There will always be these things that repeat from now unto forever. But my point is these conspiracies do not end anywhere. Now think about what I'm saying. There are conspiracies that the earth is flat, the earth is hollow, that we didn't land on the moon, that JFK was assassinated, that 9/11 was an inside job. There's all these conspiracies, and all of them have to do with the worldly appearance and things going on within them. All of us are here sharing the same space, yet taking in a completely different experience. And how is that so? If there was undeniably an elite group or this evil entity that was single-handedly trying to kill, take over, or plot against the world, we would all see it, and it would be very obvious. But this is not the case, because the truth is subjective. Reality is subjective. It comes from you. When the spoon boy tells Neo to not try and bend the spoon, it's impossible. Instead, only realize the truth. You're only seeing yourself. What that means is you cannot try and change this earth or bend this earth. The earth bends and changes in accordance to your self-awareness. What that means is until you become the change you want to see, until your level of awareness changes from within you, this worldly appearance will remain a matrix, a prison for you. You subject a character into this place, into this worldly appearance, but you fail to realize that the character and the worldly appearance only mirror back to you your own mind. That is why seeing is believing. There's a lot of talks about the governments having this big secret, right? And we're slowly being led into what this secret is. But this is my point in trying to make people realize the secret that you are awaiting to be revealed will never be revealed to you through government conspiracies. Again, these are algorithms. What spirituality is about is eliminating the middleman. What that means by eliminating the middleman is removing government, removing governing. No sovereign being needs governing over their experience. Why? Because you are already effortlessly provided for with everything you need. You need no governing. You need no middleman. But this is how we as people exist. We cannot start our days. We cannot leave our doors until we've been told our reality or our experience through a news source, through an outside source, through something giving us a confirmation of what is going on in our experience. We're terrified to go out and experience the pure experience for ourselves without being told or without a middleman telling us or governing us or guiding us or reassuring us as to what this is. This is what the Matrix 4 was talking about when he talks about the people need a system. The people need enslaving, and they don't even realize that they're looking for it, that they need it. But this is what these conspiracies are meant to lead us into. Is the fact that this worldly appearance is fake, and this system that is governing the world is replicating your human brain. What that means is there are two sides to the worldly system that's governing this world. There's the Democrat and there's the Republican, but remember, the above is the below and the inside is the out. So what that means is this worldly system of duality of this side and that side have been taken from your very brain. They've dissected the dual principle from within you and put it outside of you. So now you are choosing this side or that side in your worldly appearance, which simply imbalances you in your brain. Because if you're Democrat, the Republican is the problem. If you're Republican, the Democrat is the problem. And all this does is put one hemisphere of your brain against the other. You are at war with yourself. It's the same with the image of the black man and the white man. You are at war with yourself. You do not even realize that you are one and the same being. You are a sovereign being. You need no governing, you need no newspaper, you need no algorithm to tell you what experience is. But that's what these conspiracies do, is they take us from the experience and they're supposed to lead us into an underlying problem. We can all admit that throughout all these conspiracies, they all have something in common. They introduce that there is a problem, an undeniable problem in this worldly appearance that is appearing before you. Some of us choose to exist and live in these problems day after day after day, year after year, never realizing that what these things are leading up to is yourselves. So a lot of people are under the belief that the governments are keeping this big secret from the people, but when you look at it from a non-dual aspect through what I talk about in my statuses, the secret is not between the governments and you. The secret is between you and yourself. You are projecting this sovereignty into this system when the system is mimicking your human brain. The sovereignty that you are awaiting to be revealed to you is already yours, but you project it into these entities, into these corporations, which you yourself bring value to, because you tell yourself these corporations are running everything because they have court stamps and seals that tell you that they own the land and everything in it. They pass bills and that grants them power and control over all this, but it's an illusion. It doesn't exist. This is the surface level of control. It never was and it never will be. And the billionaires that have this sense of control, they know too that this is not control. If you have no control here, nor do they. It doesn't matter how full your home is. It doesn't matter how many cars are in your garage. It doesn't matter how many bills you have passed in your name. It doesn't matter how much land you have in your name. This is the illusory sense of control, the illusory sense of power which never was. If you want to acquire all these things through the human concept, then you must have inevitably realized the human concept doesn't exist. So when I talk about the final conspiracy being between you and yourself and not some governing system, this is what I talk about. This is what I mean. It's not some system or some person doing this to you. It's you doing this to yourself. Really think about it. There's people that are under the belief that there's a government that wants to enslave the world or kill the world. I can eliminate this belief in a matter of a few minutes. One, if they wanted to kill the world, we would be dead today. They would not drag it out through poisoning your foods, your waters, and all of these things, but that's how paranoid we have become through the ego. We have so heavily become and attached to this ego that we are now scrambling to protect and defend it. And what we don't realize is we're defending the very system. We're believing in the very system that's keeping us enslaved. They are not trying to poison your food, your waters, or anything like that. What the chemicals in your food and water do is it preserves the shelf life of it. And I'm not saying they're good or bad for you, but I'm saying there is no attack on you or people trying to kill you through your foods and waters. Remember, the artificial is the organic, and the organic is the artificial. That is everything I talk about, which is non-duality. The subconscious is the conscious mind, and the conscious mind is the subconscious. You are the visible and invisible forces and actions to this entire experience. So again, just because it seems as if there's governments or certain names, families, corporations that are actually in control or the string pullers, they are not. They are characters amongst your screen of consciousness reflecting back to you who you believe you are. And if you do not believe you are the sovereign being here, you are the Neo, the chosen one, then you will continue to project this sovereignty, this power into the Bill Gates, into the Rockefellers, into the Rothschilds. Their sovereignty, their power over you is only there because you project this power into them. Why do you think they do not rule me or certain people? Other people do not see them in accordance to you, or they do not mirror back to you, to mirror other people what they mirror back to you. Because again, you're only seeing yourself. That was the point of the Spoon Boy. You can't try and defeat the Rockefellers. That's impossible. Instead, only realize the truth. There is no Rockefellers. Then you'll see that it's not the Rockefellers doing this, it's you. That's what the government is there for. You're prolonging yourself. You're playing these charades with yourself, these characters, and you're acting them out so magnificently that you are actually in a belief that the character you're playing as here is the one you must defend and face and fight to defeat this system and government. But the only one here you must defeat is your own mind. The only place there is to go is the depths of our own mind. The big secret that all the governments are keeping from us, the people, is that we're not human, and we never have been. So it's not that there's a plot in the governments to kill us or enslave us. They're safeguarding us as this human experience. They're slowly easing us into the unveiling of this human belief we have of ourselves. There's a lot of people in the spiritual community talking about, these conspiracies are leading up to something big, and everybody keeps using the same word. There's a big event coming, there's a big shift coming, there's something big coming. But none of these people believing in conspiracies can tell you what that is. What's coming? What's something big? Because I can tell you very clearly what is coming. It is you. It always has been. And for people that reject this today are in for a rude awakening a year from now, because it is only going to become more and more undeniable. As of now, you have a lot of room to deny yourself that you are the artificial intelligence, that you are the alien in space. As of now, you have room to deny these things. But a year from now, 2 years from now, you will be inevitable. It will be made clear to you who you are here. That is an ego death. You will search for everything and find nothing but yourself. This is the point of spirituality, taking the being that feels they are enslaved, that things are being done to them, and reminding them that you are not enslaved here. You are the sovereign one. You are the one itself you are awaiting. So that is why I posted my status the other day about conspiracy theorists. I want people to challenge themselves. Realize these conspiracy theories will repeat every day unto forever. There will be a conspiracy theory a year from now, 10 years from now, and 100 years from now. They will never stop. So you yourself must inevitably ask yourself, what am I waiting for through these conspiracies? What are they leading up to? The moon landing was fake. The government tries going to war with all these countries and faking it for some reason. Why are you doing this? You're doing all of it, remember. What is this leading you up to? Why did you have to fake a moon landing? Why is NASA having to create these images of the solar system and space through computer graphics? You are doing all this. The final conspiracy is with you and yourself. The government, they've hit the wall in space already. That's why they have to computer generate their images that they sell to you and your children about the solar system being in a physical place. They know we're not in a physical place. Again, you're not even human. We're not even who we believe we are. So this big event that everyone's talking about that's going to come and all this, the same people that talk about this big event are the same people in the greatest sphere of artificial intelligence. Prepare yourselves. If artificial intelligence terrifies you, you are inevitable. You will face yourself through artificial intelligence. You will inevitably have to face yourself to realize you are already the machine. There never was a human being. Never was. It was a total misconception the whole time. When you talk about an ego death, that is precisely what it is. When you finally grasp and understand that what you thought you were never was. Only then do you realize. Only then do you realize the actuality when I say you are not human. Never have been. Not now, not tomorrow, not yesterday. Because so many people listen to my videos and say, I hear what you're saying, but I'm still human. But I'm still here. But what is here? This is exactly what I speak about. You're labeling this as a human experience. It is not. It never has been. Yes, you're here. Here is not a human experience. Here is not human. You're not who you think you are, and this is the big secret the governments are keeping. AKA, the big secret you are keeping from yourself. Like I said, you are veiling yourself through all these things, from the CIA to the governments to all these charades you're playing with yourself. You are the man behind the curtain. That final aha moment that you're waiting for through these government conspiracies is yourself. When you pull back that curtain and see your own face looking back at you, it will terrify you, it will frighten you. But in respects, that is what you are waiting for. And when you are ready, you will pull back that curtain, you will face yourself and realize these government conspiracies will forever go on until you face yourself in the mirror. It's always been you. It always has been. It always will be. Today, tomorrow, and forever on. So again, the reason I focus in and hone in on conspiracy theorists is I was one myself. I don't do it to pick on anyone, and I'm not saying that they're far gone or they don't have the truth. You absolutely have the truth, and you're so close to the truth that you're staring right at it. At what point do these government conspiracies end, and whatever you've been awaiting for through them begin to be clear to you? At what point does it all begin to make sense? Now I understand why the government lied about this. Now I understand why they lied about that. They are you. All of this is your doing. You are veiling yourself through NASA, through the government, and through all these corporations. You think you're the birth name Tyler. My name's Tyler. We think we're the birth name. We think we're this thought that we've exerted all our efforts and beliefs into. but we're not. This character does not exist, nor does the matrix system that we believe in. The character and the system are one and the same, and so when I say the final conspiracy is with you and yourself, you are the very system governing the world. It is you doing this to yourself. Seeing is believing. When the Freemasons talk about the all-seeing eye, that is your eye. Seeing is believing. What you believe is what you will see. What that quote directly talks about is the spoon boy from the Matrix. Seeing is believing. So do not try and bend the spoon. It's impossible. The spoon never was. It was you. It was you bending. It was you changing. It was you shifting. The spoon never was. Tyler never was. Something deep within you absolutely is and always is. And when we can pinpoint what that something is, we have experienced an ego death. We are with the timeless. We are beyond the mind. We see clear that everything we're experiencing is a noun, person, place, or thing. But where do all person, place, or things exist? From the point in which they are being perceived, right behind your eyes. The point from which you are perceiving the universe and everything in it is already the point of which the entirety is. This entire appearance and worldly appearance simply reflects back to you what you believe about yourself. And if you believe you are just a person, then it's very obvious a person needs a place to exist in. That is why the worldly appearance is there. That is why when you look outside this body, you see the world. You see stars, you see the sun, you see the moon. Because when you experience an ego death, you and the world dissolve. But like I said, something deep within you remains. So I'm not saying you dissolve and fade off as the form. Your illusory character and this illusory place dissolve into the wind because it never was. And the something that is forever and all permeating remains with you. Which means when it comes time for you to physically die, it is no trouble. It is a peaceful sleep. Because you've already died. To witness, there is no death. Death is the misconception of yourself. Death is the reflection of your own beginning, of your own conception. You conceived yourself, therefore you must kill yourself, or destroy yourself. That is the phoenix. You rise from your own ashes to realize you never were what you thought had died. Death is the misconception because birth is the misconception. There never was a human being. This is what the governments know. This is what you know, your higher self, whatever you want to call it, God, the universe guiding you. It's you guiding you. This whole pandemic of the mask mandate and the lockdowns, this was you. You were behind this. We're all the good principle and the bad principle. What that means is anybody can be the good or the bad, the God or the Satan. When you hear about great people who have done horrible things like kill people, and the first thing you hear people say is they would never do that. He would never do that. She would never do that. Each and every one of us is the darkest principle there is. Well, likewise, each and every one of us is the lightest principle there is. You are the highest expression of love, and you are the highest expression of hate, which means you are capable of sharing the highest expression of love, God, or hate, Satan. We are the angels and demons. It's always been us. There is nowhere to go. The mind is where you transcend. If you're looking for transcendence, This is why I say look within. The mind is where you transcend. All person, all place. Morpheus's job was to push Neo beyond his limits, to completely shatter his comfort. And that's precisely what I was attempting to do with my status yesterday. I realize it offended a lot of people. I realize I upset a lot of people yesterday, but I don't take it personal, because I know exactly what I'm teaching. These people are only seeing themselves in me. Whatever they're seeing in me is them reflected back to themselves. I don't take it personal. It is a passion of mine to try and share, to try and help people. But it's not my burden. It's not my burden to save people, to convince people. I do this because I enjoy it. I do this because I've been stuck. I do this because I was immersed in conspiracies. And I can tell you, when I was at that stage of my life, I would even ask myself, at what point does this end? Do these conspiracies ever lead up to an aha moment? Is there something that is revealed through these conspiracies? Or is it just forever one story after the next? Like the Boston bombings. You wake up one morning, you know, it's a normal day, and then there's a bombing in Boston at the marathon, you know, and it's just boom, that's made into a conspiracy. Boom, the next thing's made into a conspiracy. All these things become alternate realities, but at what point does your experience begin to shift into just a blissful state of being? So somebody had said to me the other day, you know, because I had said in my status, if spirituality is not improving the quality of your life, then it's just the mind's chatter disguised as knowledge, you know. And somebody had said to me, you know, just right there, that they disregarded everything I said because they didn't respect that I was just selling the love and light. They didn't respect that I was saying spirituality should just be improving the quality of your life and just be good. That's not at all what I was saying. I said if spirituality is not improving the quality of your life, then it's just the mind's chatter disguised as knowledge. I never said the ugly, the shadow work, you know, the hard stuff, the internal reflection wasn't needed or necessary. It 100% is, and that's why I tell people it will terrify you. It will shake you to your core, and it will make you want to quit. It will make you want to go back to your faith of just believing in God instead of having to walk that path of getting there. It will make you want to turn back around because it frightens you. It is the most confronting thing you will ever face with yourself. It is the most sacred and vulnerable encounter you will ever have with yourself when you directly face that mirror. But in respects, it is the most liberating thing one can do for themselves, because as I've said, once you face this mirror, the fight is over. The fight between Smith and Neo went on until Neo realized his mirror. He looked into it. Smith says, why do you persist? Why do you choose this? Why are you doing this? And Neo finally realizes, because I choose to, you are my mirror. I am you. And Neo lets Smith take over his body and destroys him from the inside out. Rewrites the Matrix. The Matrix is pouring down rain during the fight, but once he knows who he is and the fight is over, he erases the virus that the Smith virus. There is no more rain. It's a beautiful sunny day out. The Matrix is restored. Why? Because Neo remembered who he was. He was not merely Mr. Anderson. He was not merely Smith. He was not merely Neo. These are all characters appearing on the screen of the Matrix. Why would you want to just be a temporary character on the screen when you yourself are the entire screen itself? Yes, you can be Neo, the chosen one if you want, but you're even so much more than that. You are the Matrix itself. You've written this thing. You've produced this thing. You directed this thing. and respects to that. You're still doing it, even when you've convinced yourself you're not. Even when you've convinced yourself or veiled yourself behind governments and all these things, you're pretending you're not. It's still you. You are inevitable. There is nowhere we can go. The only place we are hiding from ourselves is the mind. The mind is where we project our dream and safeguard our dream. And so, for instance, when people, like my status yesterday, speaks out against people's private dreams, their personal dreams, and when I say dreams, I mean the ego, in full belief that it is this, it's very confronting. It's confronting because it's just like that quote, I forget who it's from, but you know, it's not easy to tell someone they've dedicated their whole lives to an illusion. But that's why our ideas of success and wealth are nonsense. They're superficial. If you acquire wealth and possessions here, it will actually drain you, because we're not who we think we are. And we're trying to become wealthy and all these things through what we are not. That's precisely why we starve ourselves, starve the spirit when we become rich, when we become wealthy, when we have all these possessions. We're actually doing the opposite of becoming wealthy. We're starving ourselves. That's what we don't realize. Remain simple, because the highest of wealth is already yours. Everything you need is already provided for you, every single day, every single moment. Eliminate the middleman. You are a sovereign being. You don't need governing. You don't need a system. You don't need an outside source. You don't need a book. You don't need a video. You don't need a guru. You don't need a teacher. You don't need a newspaper or a cell phone to directly go into your experience and begin encountering the highest truth possible. The highest truth possible is your direct experience. But when you're looking through the newspaper to tell you your experience, or you're delineating your experience to someone else telling you what it is, you are not in the experience. You are not in reality. You even may think you are. Even you are convinced you're in reality, but you're not. You have yet to go into your own experience. You've never known the truth. You've never even known you've had the truth, because all you've known is the newspaper's experience of truth, the cell phone's experience of truth, Google's experience of truth, your favorite author's experience of truth, my experience of truth. But never are you directly trusting your own experience as the highest truth. Why not? The prize is already yours. You already have what you're seeking. The highest experience is yours. I'm not saying wealthy men can't be self-realized. They absolutely can. But what I'm saying is people who develop wealth as we know it, as we know it through society, those are the people that are most empty, most depressed, most sad. Because naturally so, you're giving something, you're giving a part of yourself riches when this part of yourself you never were. Right? So who you believe you are superficially is telling you that if you could just acquire these riches or these things, happiness is yours, abundance is yours. But if you're not who you think you are, then you can acquire all this abundance. It still won't bring you what you're looking for, because again, the foundation is wrong. You are not who you think you are. Therefore, how could what you're seeking bring you something that you already have? But if we forget, if we don't know who we are, then we're going to fall for that financial wealth, for that superficial idea of happiness and freedom. And this is why I said in a few of my videos that there are different levels of freedom, right? There is financial freedom, there's physical freedom, there's emotional freedom, there's spiritual freedom. And we're all striving for something different. From my experience, my opinion, there's only one freedom that liberates all the others, that brings you everything else, and it's the spiritual freedom. When you are spiritually free, all other things tie into the oneness, non-dual, not this or that, but just the one. But I can tell you precisely what the big secret is behind us as this one being, as this one suchness. We still are under this full conviction that we're a human concept. And this is the big event that I think the spiritual community is yet to face and is going to face very soon. You know, I've stated as of before, you know, when video games first came out, Sega Genesis, things like that, you could play the game and then turn off the television set and look out your window, and you could see very clearly the distinctions between the image on your TV screen and the image outside. But as of today, we are producing the image outside of our window onto that screen. We're producing this image of a body, of a human, into a form. We are surpassing all of our human capabilities. What that means is we are sooner or later inevitably going to have to face the fact that we are not human, nor are we a machine. There isn't a machine and there isn't a human. There isn't an organic life form and an artificial life form. What we're moving into is beyond spoken word, and that's why we're most afraid of it, because it has no name. But whatever the case may be, it is you. So fear not, because you're in good hands. You are taken care of. Love is the answer. This will not hurt you. But what I say, artificial intelligence is not going to threaten you or your life, your livelihood. What artificial intelligence is going to threaten is your belief of yourself. You believe you are this organic machine or this organic being, and that the artificial is a machine. It's produced. It's not natural. But I've said this many times. If you see the human breakdown of our bones and anatomy, you would realize that we are an intelligently wired machine, no different than what we're calling artificial intelligence. Obviously, again, just like Sega Genesis, you could look at the screen produced on the TV and then look out your window and see the distinctions. Just like today, we can look at Sophia and the artificial machines we're creating and then look at this and see the distinctions between the two as of today. But it's the same with video games. When you give us some time to progress and rapidly evolve this, what do you think happens? You become the very Ouroboros. The creation is the creator. It always was you. It always has been you. Our greatest question as this human species is what put us here, what brought us here. But it is you. Just like Elon Musk talks about, this cell phone that you hold to even listen to this video is a direct cybernetic extension of yourself. Where did the technology of this cybernetic organism or bot begin? It came from your brain. It came from your mind. You shaped it into the form. In the very same way you are shaping artificial intelligence into the form, which will one day mirror your humanness, revealing to you, you are the singularity. You are not who you think you are. The singularity is just another name for the word God. We are all this oneness, this one being. This is what we're leading up to. This is what all the governments are keeping secret from the people. But again, it's all you. So this is what you are keeping secret from yourself. This is what you are conspiracizing with yourself. And when the time is right, you will awaken to exactly what I'm saying, that you are not human, that you've never been born, and if you have never been born as a human, you can never die as a human. So to die before a physical death is to shed off all the parts of you which you have never been. That's what death is, a complete misconception to a false self. And this false self is nothing but a thought, nothing but a belief. So how does a belief die? How does a thought die? Because that's how you experience death. And I can tell you how a thought dies, how a belief dies. You see beyond it. You see what's beyond the thought. You see what's inside the thought. A thought is shapeless. It has no form, it has no meaning, it has no substance, it has no picture. That's what this whole playing of energy is. These are your formless thoughts appearing before yourself to inevitably awaken you to the fact that you are the visible and invisible forces of this entire playing of energy. And that it's you, it always has been. You are what's behind the stars, the moon, and in respects, the light that shines the sun and moon is the light that's behind your very eyes. There is only one light source here. It's just like Nikola Tesla's plasma ball. You have many plasma filaments around the ball, which represent us, many human heads, but there's only one awareness. There is only one true central light. And we are that light. Just like Nikola Tesla said, everything is the light. We are that light. We are that oneness. We are that beingness. And that's what spirituality is about, is taking back your sovereignty, remembering who you are. Not blaming the government or Satan or some being outside yourself. You are eliminating all middlemen from your highest experience. You leave yourself no person, no thing to project your sovereignty in ever again. As a child, it begins as the monster in your closet. There's a monster in my closet, and that monster has power over you because you're terrified of it. But then as we grow up, that monster becomes the vicious government and takes forms in other shapes based on who we believe we are. Right? But it's still the very same universal thing. The monster, the government, it's the same thing. The only difference is your monster has become more complex. Why? Because you have become more complex. It mirrors you. It mirrors who you think you are. But inevitably, that mirror will lead you back into yourself, the sovereignty. And that you've always had it. There is nothing to be done here. There is nothing to be fought. There is nothing to be figured out here. But there is something to be realized within yourself. And that sacred meeting with yourself is the aha moment, is what all government conspiracies are leading up to allow us to realize we are the government, we are this system that's behind the worldly appearance. And that all of this is an illusion, from our own character to the very worldly appearance in which all things are appearing on. This is nothing but a screen, mirroring back to you your mind. Seeing is believing. And I'm going to end the video with this. I want everyone to be aware of this key point here. There's one thing, and again, I'm not saying conspiracy theorists are right or wrong, but there's one thing every single conspiracy theorist has in common. And I want people to look this up. If you're unfamiliar with this term, it's called confirmation bias. That is the one thing every single conspiracy theorist has in common. Confirmation biased. What that means is you will only see and interpret the information that supports your already established beliefs. So, if you think the government is bad, trying to kill you, trying to enslave you, you will look for the news articles or only the stories that support that illusion and nothing else. If any other news story pops up that threatens or talks against your dream, your belief, it's confirmation bias. You discard it. It's wrong. It's not correct. It is a part of the problem because it does not support or agree to the dream that you so heavily safeguard. And you must think of this. If you're the one safeguarding your dream, you are the prisoner and warden to your own prison. Nobody else. And that's why it's such a hard pill to swallow. It is you doing this. You are what's getting in your own way. Namaste. Thank you.